How should organizations measure the ROI of cloud initiatives? Well, certainly if they haven't yet virtualized all of their data center, there's the consolidation measurements, which tend to be very easy. If organizations are at the stage where they're seriously considering private cloud, they've probably virtualized most of their servers, but in many cases maybe they still have their tier 1 and mission critical and regulated servers that maybe aren't virtual machines yet. So computing the ROI for virtualizing those is easy to do, and certainly something that should be done. And in many cases, even though maybe they don't get the same consolidation ratios that they would with lower impact servers, because they've already built out their virtual infrastructure, now it's just a question of extending it. So it's just marginal cost to reap huge benefits by virtualizing those servers. So the ROI tends to be very good. The other types of quantitative measurements may not be so easy to identify, but that really depends upon what are the business drivers for implementing the private cloud. And does the business want to be able to increase top-line revenues, to be able to acquire more customers, whatever those objectives are, first identifying them, and then putting in some quantitative goals and measuring those goals against what they're able to achieve through the automation and orchestration and monitoring of their IT infrastructure as part of their private cloud. What are the steps that an organization should take to maximize their ROI as part of their private cloud? One of the most important steps is to transition from the legacy type of project-based billing or project-based budgeting, because in that situation it leads to difficulties. And in a physical data center world, that type of budgeting can persist, even though it's inefficient. But organizations, departments will buy things with their own budgets, so it's their servers, it's their SANs, and they have this kind of ownership. And it's very inefficient, and there's a lot of redundancy, but it gets by. And it's kind of comical, but the Gartner #1 recommendation for reducing costs in their 2007 data center was to turn off the servers and see if anybody notices. And again, all this kind of persisted in a physical world, but when you move to a virtual environment where now you're sharing all the resources with one dynamic resource pool, that type of legacy project-based budgeting just does not bode well, because a department or a business unit will want to maybe get just some more servers for an application, or they need a little bit more storage or a little bit more network capacity, and maybe they're the department that puts the organization over the top in terms of the infrastructure and ends up having to buy an entire new UCS or an entire new Nexus switch or a complete new SAN. And that's, of course, anathema to the whole idea of private cloud with shared resource pools. So one of the key steps is to switch from that legacy-based, project-based budgeting model to a consumption-based or utility-based type of funding model.